All right. In my last video, I was talking about investing, but you could not see what was on my screen. I do apologize. So I'm going to redo this, and we're going to go back over this one more time. And I apologize for those of you who may have shared the first one. I'm going to actually go ahead and share my screen right now so that you can actually see my screen, so that as I begin to talk about this information, you can see what's going on. So here we go. So this training is just impromptu training because I've been talking about some things that have been going on with people with security clearances that work for the Department of Defense, including the military. And one of the things that I saw that was kind of surprising was there is rumors about people who have security clearances may not be able to get a positive approval on their security clearances if they are investing in marijuana stocks. And of course, marijuana is still an illegal substance federally. And so, that's been the debate. So if you've been seeing my timeline, you saw that I posted an article last night from military.com that talked about that. But I also wanted to share with individuals what MyEcon actually teaches. So I'm here on the MyEcon website, and one of the things that I'm going to share here is I want to share exactly some of the things that MyEcon does. And so if you are a guest of someone that's watching and you haven't heard about MyEcon, now is your opportunity to take a look behind the scenes at some of the things that we actually do. And so inside of MyEcon, we have a lot of resources. One of the things that we have is called our income shifting membership. Inside of our income shifting membership, we show you how to fix your credit, how to maintain your credit, get good credit scores. We show you how to increase your cash flow. So, a lot of people bring in an extra $200, $300, $400, $500 a month from their jobs by filling out one simple form that we discuss. We show you how to eliminate your debt. Debt robs you of your wealth. And so we've got strategies on debt elimination. We've got strategies on how to minimize your taxes. But one of the things that a lot of people miss out on is our financial freedom videos. In our financial freedom videos, we actually share and show you exactly how to invest. And we talk about different platforms. We talk about the different types of investing. We just talk about just terminology. Now, we are not a company that tells you what to invest in because we are not licensed to sell investments. But what we do is we educate people on the terminology. We educate you on different platforms that you can take a look at and go and use those platforms to invest in what we call owning a piece of America. If you like to eat out and you eat out at Red Lobster all the time, maybe you want to find out what company owns Red Lobster and if they're publicly traded. If you drink a lot of Coke, then maybe you want to own a piece of Coca-Cola. And so what we do is we show you the terminology, we show you the platforms so that you can actually begin to invest in a part of America. And so we've got videos that cover all different types of things as it relates to the things that you need to know to begin becoming an investor. So that's a great reason for you to get started with MyEcon. I don't think enough people talk about that. But what I want to do is I want to jump over here to one of the platforms that we have talked about in our training. And we've actually talked about a platform called Stash. Now, Stash is one of these new platforms, and I say new platforms. I'm an old traditional investor, and so I've got E-Trade and I've got Charles Schwab, and so the bulk of my money is in those types of platforms. Those are old school platforms. But there's some new platforms that have actually come out, and Stash is one of those new platforms, and I think it's a very, very interesting platform. I'm not going to go over everything. Join MyEcon if you want to see, behind the scenes everything. But I do want to just kind of whet your appetite, if you will, with some of the things that you can do here and some of the things that we actually teach inside of MyEcon. So I'm here at Stash, and the beautiful thing about Stash is it's given the everyday person the opportunity to invest. You know, a lot of times in the past, you have to have at least $2,500, $3,000 to get started. And a lot of people just didn't have that. With Stash, you can get started with $5. And you can actually buy fractional shares. You know, I think as little as $10, $15, you can buy fractional shares. And so that's what makes Stash so powerful, is that anybody can start investing. I don't care if you got just $5, $10, $20 a month. You can start investing and owning a piece of America. Everybody needs to become an investor. We're a big believer in that in MyEcon. And so Stash is just one of many platforms that's out there. So it's just one of many platforms out there. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to share some things with you. I'm going to click on Browse Investments. And here's what Stash does. Stash has a lot of different types of investments that you can get involved in. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to click on View All Investments. And I'm just going to kind of go through a few things that you would be interested in knowing. And these are things that we actually teach. So you're going to see conservative, moderate, and aggressive mix. Basically, that determines what your investment style is. If you're a conservative, you don't like to take a whole lot of risk, you would get into companies that are long-term companies, maybe companies that are paying dividends. And again, if you don't understand the terminology of what I'm talking about, that is the exact reason why you want to join MyEcon, because we begin to teach you those terminologies. So conservatives might want to invest in companies that are paying dividends. So those are companies that are not growing, like crazy, but they're paying steady dividends and they're solid companies. A moderate mix would be probably a middle-aged person like myself. I've still got enough time for the market to correct itself if it goes down. But I want to, really be in the middle between conservative and aggressive. And then, of course, aggressive is just stocks that, you could hit a home run or you could, lose everything, right? That's an aggressive mix. And usually what a lot of investors will say, or investment advice would be, is that the younger you are, the more aggressive you can be, because you've got time. You've got time on your side so that either the stock can turn around or you can invest in other things and be okay. There's a investment here that says roll with Buffett. And basically what this is what we call an ETF. And an ETF is an electronic traded fund, right? Or exchange traded fund. I'm sorry, exchange traded fund. And basically what an ETF does is it's a bunch of stocks in a portfolio that are managed by stock managers and trading managers. And so or financial managers, whatever you want to call them. And so that sits inside, these stocks sit inside of this ETF. And typically ETFs are based on industries or different types of investments that you want to have. So for example, roll with Buffett, if I click on that, that's going to show me some of the top holdings that Mr. Warren Buffett himself has. And so what we're looking at is Berkshire Hathaway. And you'll see the ticker symbol. And Berkshire Hathaway, you'll see here, is a Class B stock, and it's trading at $200 a share. Okay. And you can see year to date, it's down year to date. But this is what Warren Buffett, this is Warren Buffett's stock, and it's very conservative. Okay. I want to go back here to look at these shares again, and I want to just go through a few of these other things here. So let's go down here to where it says Internet Titans. This is where you're investing in companies that, really build their business around the internet, and they make a lot of their money online. If you wanted to invest in China, and you know that China is a fast growing economy, you can invest in China. If you wanted to invest in companies that are clean companies, green companies, these are companies that do solar panels. These are companies that are doing wind energy. These are electric vehicle companies. They're all green and clean, right? And if I click on that, let's just take a look at what's inside of these particular companies and see what they're investing in. Many of these you may not have heard of before, but again, here's a solar company here, all right? So these are what we call green companies. and you're investing in the portfolio of all of those companies. So an ETF is very similar to a mutual fund. Again, if I'm losing you with the terminology, that's why you want to be a part of MyEcon. What I want to do is I want to speed up a little bit. I want to talk about Defending America. This is for companies that that supply the military with all of their equipment. So if I click on Defending America, you'll see that inside of this is Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics. These are all companies that specialize in equipment for the military. And if you can see, this shows the percentage of holdings on each one of those companies inside of this ETF. And as you can see, year to date, this has done 18.52%. So since January 1, the money that was invested has earned 18% return on your money. This is great. And this is what we teach in MyEcon, because if you go put your money in a bank in a savings account somewhere, if you look at a savings account, I'm not going to go over to the bank right now. Maybe I will. I got a little bit of time. Let's go over to the bank and look at what you would get paid if you put your money in the bank. Let's take a look at, I'm just going to do Bank of America. All right. Let's just go here to Bank of America and just kind of take a look at what they are giving for their savings accounts inside of Bank of America. So checking and savings, let's take a look and see what kind of return you're getting on a savings account. All right, $25 to open. All right, you got some maintenance fees that you have. Let's see, what is the rates that they're paying on these accounts though? Let's see. I'm just going to click on one of these, and if I don't go to them real quick, then we'll keep moving on. It's taking too long for me. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to google.com, and I'm going to type in savings rate. Let's see if we can find just some banks and see what the savings rate is. All right. So we see Citibank right here has a savings rate of 2.3%. That's not bad. That's not a bad interest rate. That is typically not what is on a savings account. But if you click in here, you probably have to, the savings where you probably got to invest quite a deal. So let's take a look here at, here we go. Best savings accounts and rates, March 2019. So this is fresh. This is fresh, okay? And this is going to be the best savings rates that are out there. So when we take a look at that, you got Citibank. They got a savings rate of 2.36%. You don't need any money to start it off, so that's good. 2.36 is not bad, right? You got E-Trade. They got a bank. You get 2.1%. You got American Express. They've got a bank. You get 2% there. Capital One, 2%. And these are the best. These are the best that are out there. Okay. Now this says deposit amount. If I go back and I'll just put 0, because most people, let's just put $1 here. And then I can sort. Okay. So what we're doing is we're looking at the best savings accounts in these banks here, but then you can see up here this week's national average. A 1-year CD pays 0.088%. That's less than 1%. So CDs are just really not where it's at. And then even savings, the average, the national average for a savings account is 0.10%. Ladies and gentlemen, that's less than 1%. That's less than 1%. Okay. And so we teach you how to start getting better returns on your money. And as you can see, less than 1%, you can actually come back over here to something like Stash, and you can see that they've gotten 18% year to date. Now, the stock market, there's no guarantee that it will continue to go that way, but I would much rather start taking some of my money and invest into companies instead of putting my money in a savings account. All right, that's just me. All right, let's go back, and I want to show you one last thing here, and then I'm going to end the video here. So these are all different types of investments, blue chip stock companies. We got robots, so companies that invest in robot technology. So see, you're looking at industries, and that's what an ETF is, an exchange traded fund. There's a group of companies in that industry that you're investing in. So instead of investing in one stock, you're investing in a multiple number of stocks, and that reduces your risk from, you know, one stock just going belly up and you losing everything. You're actually investing in a group of stocks. What I wanted to show you was one that somebody asked me about. There's stocks for healthcare. That's probably a good one. You know, people are living longer. The healthcare industry probably is doing really well. Let me click on that real quick. That one says doctor, very moderate. Let's take a look at the companies that are invested here. Everybody knows these companies: Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, United Health Group, Merck. Those are all companies that we know. And this one has done 7.79% year to date. So doing really, really well. A whole lot better than 0.10 that the banks are actually paying. You want to learn how to do these things, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you want to become a part of MyEcon, because you get the chance to really learn how to take advantage of what's out here in the marketplace and manage your funds. All right, so I just did something that I should not have done. I got to start all over again. I'm gonna scroll down here, and I'm going a little bit fast. I'm gonna go straight to the point that I wanted to make here today. But somebody asked me about it. So public works, this is if you're investing in companies that build schools, highways, hospitals. That's sort of like the government or municipalities. All that glitters, if you're big into owning gold, silver, platinum, this would be an ETF that you might want to have. And then for those of you who just believe in the marijuana industry, the cannabis industry, here's a stock that is called corporate cannabis. And so what this does is this allows you to invest as a whole into that industry. And you can see that there are several different companies that make up that particular industry. All right, so those are the several companies that make up that particular industry. You can see that this industry, the year to date, has done 40%. It's done a 40% return. Okay, so it is a hot industry right now. It is aggressive and it is risky. It is risky. Now, what did I do? I threw a couple $100 in here, right? So you can see that currently the value of my portfolio is $287. Again, I don't use Stash as my primary investing platform, but because we were teaching on this platform, I threw $500 over here and bought a couple of shares of stock. Okay, and so when I invested my money, I got a 15% return, right? 15% return on my investment, even though year to date, the stock has done 40%. All right, it's done a 40% year to date return. And so it tells you everything about the company or about this portfolio, this ETF. It tells you the risk level. Obviously, this is aggressive. And so those are the things that you want to do. Now, last thing that I want to show here is, you can see that, I even I bought one share of Microsoft, and one share of Microsoft has netted me a 9.98% rate of return on my investment. Okay. For when I actually purchased it. All right. So I spent $54. I've made almost $5 on the stock. So that's almost a 10% return on my investment. You can see how the stock is done year to date. The stock is done about 10%. All right, so we're 3 months into the year, and the stock has already done about 10% in 3 months. So this is why investing and owning a piece of America is so vitally important. There's a lot of people out there that don't know how to invest. They don't know the terminology. And that's why you need a company like MyEcon that can step you through the process of actually telling you the different platforms, telling you the different types of investments, what the terminology means. Because if you just go get a stash account, yeah, you can go get a stash account and you can go start investing. But if you don't have the knowledge behind it, you're basically gambling if you don't have the knowledge and the experience behind it. And so that's what MyEcon does, is we really help you in a variety of different ways with your finances. And so I just wanted to share that with you this morning. I know this probably went a little bit longer, but it's an educational training. And so this is just something that you want to take a look at. If you want to get $5 to open and start your stash account, there's a link in the description of this video. You can click that link. It's going to give you $5 for opening up an account. Now, I must be transparent with you. It will also give me $5 for opening up an account. And so here's the nice thing, is that once you have a stash account, Stash actually gives you cash for sharing and letting people know about the stash account. So you'll see that I've already earned $15 just by referring people to Stash and doing a video like this. So you can see some people have already signed up for Stash. The other nice thing that I like about Stash, which is something that you should take a look at as well, is there's a link here that says share your gift link. And basically what that does is, now instead of sharing a link to get people to sign up for Stash where they can create their own Stash account, if my birthday comes up, instead of you buying me, something for my birthday that I'm not going to use, instead of you buying me some socks or some shoes or whatever that I don't like, like my brother bought me something for my birthday. Hopefully he's not watching, that I have worn maybe once or twice. He gave me it's a really, really nice belt. He gave me a belt. It was a Coach belt. I'm just not a name brand type of guy that wears stuff like that. So I've worn it maybe once or twice, but it would have been really, really nice if he had taken that same money that he bought that belt for me and bought me some Coach stock. I'd have been a whole lot happier. And so what you can do here is you can actually give people a link. And now on your birthday, on Christmas, instead of them giving you Christmas gifts and all that stuff that you're taking back to the store anyway, they can actually buy you a piece of stock in a company that they were going to give you something from anyway. Right. The other thing that comes in really handy with this is if you have children. And, I got grandkids. And so now their parents can actually be a guardian and sign up their child as and get a guardian account, sign up their child. And now during your children's birthdays, during Christmas, now the grandparents, the uncles, the aunts, the nieces, instead of buying toys that they're going to tear up and not even play with, 2 days after Christmas, instead of doing that, send out links to your family and say, listen, buy some stock in Nike if you were going to get them some shoes. Buy some stock in Apple. Buy some stock in Amazon. Buy some stock in Netflix. Buy some stock in a company so that the child, when the child gets older, the child now has shares of McDonald's. They've got shares of Coca-Cola. They've got shares of Delta. I'm telling you, that's going to be much more impactful to that child, instead of a toy that you bought them that when they turn 18, that toy is nowhere to be found. So this is a great gift program that you can do for gifting. And I think Stash has done a really, really great job with that as well, to allow me to be able to give the gift of a stock to someone who has a Stash account. So get your grandkids, get your kids signed up on Stash. And then when their birthdays come up or holidays come up or celebrations, graduations, whatever it might be, instead of giving them a gift that they're going to use and throw away, give them a gift that's going to last them a lifetime, that they can actually benefit from. So these are the things that we teach here in MyEcon. So if you're a MyEcon associate, go ahead and share this video. Again, it's long, but it should be very educational and eye-opening to a lot of people. Share the video and let them know that these are the types of things that we discuss and that we teach inside of MyEcon. We teach all the terminology. We answer many of your questions that you have. We have meetings where we do trainings. Mr. Ivy Stokes, who is our co-founder of the company, does a great job in sharing with people investing and showing them how to open up brokerage accounts, all of those things. Again, we don't teach you what to invest in. We don't sell any types of investments. All we do is we give you the knowledge, the literacy, the education, so that you can actually go out and start investing for yourself. Everybody, and I mean everybody, should own a piece of America. If you are living in America, you are a consumer of American companies. You go to McDonald's, Burger King, you go to, you drink Coca-Cola, you drive Mercedes-Benz, you drive all different types of cars. You should own a piece of what you spend your money in. And, you know, one of the things that we always say is that if your money, if the bank is good enough for you to put your money in it, shouldn't it be good enough for you to own a piece of the bank? So instead of getting 0.10% return on your savings account, why don't you go and own a piece of Wells Fargo, own a piece of Bank of America? And so now you're getting paid on everybody that makes deposits in that bank, everybody that takes out a loan. You're getting paid because you own a piece of the bank. So that's June. I'm June Collier. That's all that I got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you learned something. Again, if you want to open up a stash account, there is a link in the description. If you click on that link, you'll get $5 added to your account automatically, and I will get $5 as well. So, I'm just being very, very transparent. Hopefully you don't mind me getting $5 for sharing with you, but and then you'll have that opportunity to do the same thing. So this is June Collier signing out. God bless, take care, and we'll talk to you guys soon.